Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John. We are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. I was stuck practicing a little Spanish, and I lost track of time. But I'm here at 6, so life is easy. Hey, everybody, what's going on? How are you doing? If you got a number from me, definitely step right up, and we'll talk about that. But in the meantime, let me do my little intro that I normally do. This is Martin John, and we're here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text written in the 6th century BC, presumably by a guy Lao Tzu. But I always like to remember that, like, just because he wrote it doesn't mean he's so special. He just had the ability to write, and he was having conversations with people that probably couldn't write, all about Tao, probably his whole life. This isn't something that was just, it's different than and this is why I say presumably by a guy Lao Tzu. This is also why I don't pay too much attention to who he was as a person and what he did, because the Tao isn't here so that we can praise someone else. The Tao isn't here so we can look outside of ourselves. The Tao isn't here so we can explore what Lao Tzu was. Who cares? He did his job. He put this out in the world, and now we get to explore it. We get to explore this text, and we get to put ourselves into it and look at what was written and try and understand it for ourselves in our lives. Each and every one of us is going to translate some of these things differently, and each and every one of our experiences is going to be able to be seen from a different lens. And that's what's so important about the Tao. That's why the Tao, that's why I am attracted to the Tao. That's why it makes it so beautiful for me. And that's why I can come on here for 6 years and talk about the same text every day, and it be brand new every time. And it continue to present paradoxes. However, it does that in such a way that it all aligns. It's not really paradoxical when we step outside of all of the rules and all of the structures and all of the things that we have previously been, under the influence of. Now, for those of you who know, I do use some language that revolves around addiction, like living under the influence. And I talk about withdrawal. So much of our lives have been accustomed to certain ways of doing things. Like yesterday, we talked a lot about the education system. And, that is coming from a certain part of society, right? That's coming from a certain aspect. It's getting built off of certain presumptions and things in society. And we have to recognize that getting away from those things, when we start to separate ourselves from those presumptions, when we start to separate ourselves from some of those ideas, we're going to have to go through some withdrawal, because so much of what we have experienced in our lives aligns with something, right? Aligns with the consumer world, aligns with the world as it was dictated for us. It's not, we didn't create or design the world. It got designed, I don't want to say haphazardly, because, one thing led to the other, right? And when we look at the Tao, when we look at text in the Tao, it's like, respect the children and they will respect the children. You respect the outcome of your decisions, but that doesn't mean you just blindly say your outcome was good, right? If you do a thing and you don't like the results of that, look at it honestly and say, Do we need to change this? And sometimes in our society, a lot of times we will say, well, yeah, it'd be nice to change that, but it's so integrated into everybody's system, we can't. If I were to have said that when I was an addict, I wouldn't be here today. What I said when I was an addict was, at first, if I didn't have these vices, whether it was drinking or cocaine or uppers or downers or pills, and like I was all over the board for a long time just because I wanted to escape, and that was my drug of choice, was just escape. If I were to say, without these vices, who would I be? That's what I said initially. And my friend Tom, who I'm still friends with today, told me when I asked him that directly, because he was like, you might want to question your relationship with these vices. And I said, oh, okay, well, but without these vices, who would I be? And he looked at me and he was like, you're going to be yourself. Blew my mind. And so much of what we do in the world is kind of chalk things up as, well, we're too far down the road already to change things now. Well, if we take that attitude, we get further down the road, right? You get further into your own addiction. You get further down the road, like the sooner you can fess up after lying, the less you're going to have to lie. But you lie one day, and you're going to have to lie the next day, and you're going to have to lie the next day. And eventually, you're going to be living this lie that is untenable, because that is going to continue to grow. But when you respect the children, and what is the children here? The children is, how do I feel when I'm done doing that? Do I like that I did that, right? This is that question that I always ask. That, do I like that I'm doing this? Do I like that I'm lying? Not do I like lying, because I might like the results of lying right now, right? This is when I liken all of this stuff to like a cookie. Yes, I like the cookie. The cookie is delicious, and no one's going to not like the cookie. But I don't like that I'm eating it right now, or I don't like that I'm eating the third one, or I don't like that I'm eating the 50th one, or whatever, whenever you reckon. And that's the child of your action. Right? You're eating it, and maybe you still do like that you're doing it, but now you're getting bloated. Now it's like, well, I don't like that I'm feeling bloated. Okay, well, can you trace that bloated back? Well, yeah, it's probably because I ate all these cookies. And this is the same thing we've done in society. This is the same thing we've done in our lives. We get to this place where we're not asking real questions. We're saying, well, I like cookies. Well, yeah, okay, you like cookies, but big deal. Like, everybody likes cookies. But do you like that you're eating this cookie? Do you like that you're eating this cookie right now? It's about this is what that line, respect to the children and they will respect the children, really kind of points to. We'll go, and since I'm, since we are children, I'm trying to find this verse. It's interesting. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to read two today, I guess. I don't know. If anybody has a number, definitely come up. But there's two of these verses that talk about children right near each other. Go figure. There's 52 and 54. So 52 is entitled "Like Tao, so too you," and it reads, "All things issue from Tao. It is their mother. Then, in their own time, they return to Tao. Like Tao, so too you act in the world of manifestation." So you act in the world of manifestation the way Tao is in the universe, right? So all things issue from Tao. It is their mother. Everything that you experience in your life is issuing from you. And the way you perceive it is the way it's birthed into your life. So like Tao, so to you, all things issue from you. You are its mother. You didn't make that thing happen, but you're still perceiving it in your mind. So you are the mother of how you define what you're experiencing. When you recognize you're the mother of your experience, so when you recognize you are the mother of that which you are experiencing, you are not the mother of the actions taken outside of you, but you're the mother of your experience of those actions taken outside of you. Then you can identify the children your actions birth. You can identify this as your child. What actions gave birth to this? What assumptions gave birth to me having this experience in this way? Loving them as your children, you free yourself from sorrow. You realize that because you're having this experience, because you're angry, because you're triggered, because it's laying out for you in this specific way, you recognize, my actions birthed this, my assumptions birthed this, my perception birthed this. How did that happen? Now I get to know myself, and I get to realize that, this is part of me. And when I recognize that this is part of me, I free myself from sorrow because I'm no longer a victim. Now I can change. Now I can say, I don't like that I'm eating this cookie. Guess what I can do? I can make a decision to stop or not this action. And if I choose to not stop this action and I get bloated, I can just go, it's my own damn fault. Like now all of a sudden I'm not the victim, and I'm not the victim of my body. I'm not the victim of the, sweets industry. I'm not the victim of anything. I realize that it's my actions that have birthed this feeling. It's my actions that are making me feel bloated. And I can examine my actions that I've taken. I can be like, like I was bored, or I was angry, or I was taxed, or I was tired, and I made these decisions. So maybe next time I need to, I want to, do something else with my time. The other day I was walking around and I was like literally yelling at myself because I was consuming so much. I was overeating. I was drinking more kombucha than I currently am drinking. Not that I normally had drunk. I'm trying to reduce because I don't like that. I feel a certain way, and I'm watering my kombucha down. So there's all these little changes that are being made in my life right now. And I was always just constantly consuming one thing or another. I was taking a bath. I felt like that was consuming, and I felt like, and it was just like it was all too much, and so like I just wanted to sit. I wanted to sit, and I was like I didn't even want to sit, and so I stood. And I stood and I just looked out the window and I started to calm my body. And then yesterday I fasted for 24 hours and it was good because it was a good reset. It's a good reset from consuming, but I needed to identify the children, right? That bloatedness, that frustration, all that. I needed to identify the children that my actions birthed, the children. And I needed to love those children. I needed to recognize that like this frustration that I'm feeling is the child of my actions. I need to love that and pay it some mind, right? I needed to do something to alter how that child was being perceived. I couldn't just perceive that child, be angry, and then continue doing what I was doing. I needed to alter something. I needed to take some stock in what it was I was doing. And then it says, choose to not recognize your motherhood. This is what I was just talking about. A victim filled with desire and judgment. There will be no end to your turmoil. And that's what happens to us. When we become a victim to our bodies, when we become a victim to our desires, when we become a victim to other people's actions, We get filled with desire and judgment, desire for things to change, desire for, and then judgment on what is or isn't changing, judgment on ourselves, judgment on others. It says, look into the darkness and learn how to yield. That darkness is the unknown. That darkness is what's going to happen when you change your mind, when you change the language that you're using, when you change your activities. Like I was saying earlier, society says, oh, we can't change this because everybody's already aligned with that. Well, yeah, but the sooner we change, the sooner we tell people, you know what, this isn't working, the better. Because all we're doing when we just say, no, let's not do it, is kick that can down the road. Just like if I were to, I was an addict. Well, I started using at 13, but at 19 was when I first, started to think about getting sober. I didn't get sober until I was 25. So that journey did take 6 years. If I were to be like, oh, that's going to take 6 years, there's no way I'm going to get sober. Well, now here, 31 years on, I have 25 years clean and sober. Right? Like, that's only because I started to do something. And it was just the smallest thing. When I was 19, it was just like, okay, I went to one AA meeting. Didn't go back to an AA meeting for 4 years, but I went to one. That planted the seed. God knows how long it's going to take for that seed to grow, but just that seed, recognizing that I don't like that I'm doing this. That's all I ever, when I work with clients and stuff, it's just like, hey, recognize that first, attach it to whatever theme we're talking about and other things like that. And then now we can actually have that seed in the ground and taking root. Maybe it takes 6 years. Maybe it takes 10. But it's about planting that seed. And then it says here at the end of this 52, allowing your senses to guide you. Your senses. It's not your feelings necessarily. It's your senses. It's like you have enough sense to recognize that you don't like that you're doing this. Now, allow that to guide you. Don't let yourself be guided by the things around you, the assumptions that you're making, and all of that. Just be like, I don't like that I'm doing that. I don't like that I'm feeling this way. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. It just means that, well, next time you face it, you have more information to make a better choice. And then, so that's not allowing your senses to guide you, you will find peace in every crevice. So that's how that ends. So again, like Tao, so to you. This is talking about the children, your actions birth. And then we're looking at 54. Tend to Tao in your life and it will never be uprooted. Hold fast to Tao and it will never slip away. This Tao, this virtue, this relationship that this verse is talking about is when you have a feeling, when you have a sense that you're doing something that you don't like that you're doing, you pay it some mind. You give it some attention. That's tending to Tao in your life. Tao is that little voice inside your head that's saying, oh, I'm feeling bloated. Okay. Well, maybe right now when you're bloated, you can't do anything about it because you're going to be filled with judgment. But later on, maybe you can say, I wonder what caused me to feel bloated. And usually that thing will pop right up. You'll know exactly what you're talking about. And then it says, filled with Tao, respect the children, and they will respect the children. Once again, what are the results of your actions? Hey, JK, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
Doing good.
That's good.
Your voice crack? Are you feeling under the weather? What's going on?
Oh no, I feel fine. I feel good.
I just thought I might have heard your voice crack in there a second.
It could have. I've been really tired, so I've been sleeping a lot, which is good.
Yes, well, absolutely. Like, it's there's one. take into consideration we're in the middle of spring, right? Like spring is about to sprung, and that could be it. And who knows? Maybe new things are coming to the surface, and they need just some time to integrate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, little guy was sick or is sick, so there's a lot of up at night and that kind of stuff too. So we're getting through it.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, hopefully he feels better soon.
Yeah, he's coming on the other side of it, I think.
Good.
So
that's good.
I was talking to someone last night about some of the stuff, well, about the easy thing, and avoiding the easy thing. And I wanted to read that verse, if you don't mind.
Avoiding the easy?
Yeah, it might be It's So Easy.
It is, it's 64. It's so easy. One moment. I'm just taking a note. It is easy to stop something before it is set into motion. It is easy to plan something before beginning it. It is easy to break something before it has grown strong. It is easy to hide something before it has grown big. Preventing problems has never been the problem. Tiny sprouts do this and grow to unimaginable heights. And every journey has started with the first easy step. Avoiding the easy is what has created all difficult problems. Rushing past the easy thing will end up costing you. Grasping onto the destination, you lose sight of where you are. Forcing things to be what you want, when you want, will turn those things against you. Therefore, the master monitors her desire for an outcome. She remains as calm at the beginning as at the end, so she can see what is in front of her. She embraces the mundane and doesn't prize rarity. Doing this, the master reminds those around her of who they have always been, and they are inspired. Caring about nothing but Tao, she cares for all things.
Yeah, and I was talking to somebody who just, we were just talking about our how we grew up and things like that. And, it's hard. And recently, as I've been, dealing with different family members and things like that, I'm finding that I can connect with them more than connect with what happened to me with them. And it's amazing how different you start seeing, or I start seeing them, because I was having a conversation specifically with my mother, and, she's going on, and I kind of stopped her and I said, what you're saying is you're talking about them. I said, how do you feel? What's really going on with you? And, she continued to go on. I mean, almost an hour and a half on. And I just let her. And it was amazing because years ago I would absorb so much of it, and I can't remember what the hell she said. I just let her do what she did.
Yeah, sometimes it's just about, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, let it out, enjoy.
Let it out. Like, yeah. I mean, there will be a point, there's a point where we don't want to get dumped on in that way, and we'll do something about it. But, there's also the point where, like, we're not doing anything. We're just letting them do what they do. The Tao talks about that idea of, like, let them exhaust themselves.
Exactly. And I did. And I didn't rush when I got the message to talk. I finished what I was doing first because I kind of had an idea of what was going on.
Oh.
And I just, anytime she uses that language, it's a little innuendo of, can we talk? And it was, I used to get worried about it, and I'd rush to call, and then I'd get mad at her because I rushed to call. And it was all me. That was my choice. That's my own fault. And I allowed her to, just exhaust herself. And at the end of it, she was talking bad about somebody, and she just kept saying, I was like that. I was like that. I was like that. And then finally at the end of it, she just kind of stopped, and you can hear, I could feel the heaviness in her voice. And it was so sad, because she was finally the weight of seeing yourself. And what stuck out to me was, how the weight of when I started to really see myself and see how much I inflicted on myself. And it was really, all of a sudden that feeling of, oh, she just wasted any of those stories that you can come up with. I couldn't feel anything but love for her, and I loved her so much, and I felt terrible, but knowing that she has to go through her journey just like I had to go through mine.
Right.
And I had this realization, not really, but, it was you who said it. You said you're not stuck anymore. And I never was stuck, though. It was in my head about being stuck in a situation. I always had agency, and just kind of stepping into that. And I was telling, another family member, that's struggling with his parent and struggling to love his parent. And he's a grown man, but he's still struggling to love his parent. I just kind of just telling him a little bit about this. And, you're not stuck. You choose whether you're open to talking to your mother. You choose when and how. That's all you really have control over. And he said, I never even thought about that. When she calls me at 2 a.m, I said, she might not even know it's 2 a.m. I said, she's probably a little bit out of it. He goes, yeah. I said, it could be 8 a.m. for her. I said, you don't know. I said, you're assuming that there's disrespect or lack of consideration. I said, it's not about that. I said, are you being considerate of yourself? If you don't want to talk to her at 2 a.m., don't pick up the phone. There's nothing you could do for her at that point anyway. And it was so eye-opening for me, because I saw myself in all those moments about how I used to do that and then feel stuck and feel like I had to get out of here and run away. And it was just running from myself the whole time. And it would have been a lot easier. And that's why I thought of this verse, if I would have just acknowledged, And so I try to do that today, because I can't do anything about that. And I needed to have those experiences to get where I'm at now. But now when I think about when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, that it would be a lot easier if I just, what am I feeling? And invested there as opposed to a story or something else. That's what I thought about while you were talking this morning.
Yeah, this one, it was really glaring that these first 4 lines. It's easy to stop something before setting it into motion. It's easy to plan something before beginning it. Unfortunately, we're born into a world and we have no plans. We have no frame of reference. We don't know what to stop and what to keep going. We don't know what to break before it's grown strong. We don't know what to hide before it's grown big. And when we're born, our parents, for better or worse, are often just as immature, and their frame of reference when they were born wasn't existent either. And so they learned by observing, and all of those, ill-suited assumptions. This is like when I was talking about addiction, I was talking about society, and in this idea of, well, if we stop doing this, who would we be? Well, if we stop doing this, what is the grounding that we're going to have? And so we keep kicking that can down the road, because these things have grown big. They have been set into motion. They have begun. And yeah, okay, it's easy to stop something before it's grown big, but what happens when you wake up at 35 and now you're surrounded by all of these decisions that you invested without knowing what it was you were investing in. And that's so many of us. I mean, probably every single one of us is probably just living in this perpetual state of kicking the can down the road because that is what was modeled for us, or that's, what society wants from us. And so once again, it's modeled for us. And so we kick this can down the road, and then we stand up for our own limitations. It's like, no, I'm limited. I'm small. I'm not enough. I can't do enough. But it's really easy. This is why I say life is easy all the time, is because really, you just have to bring some awareness that, yes, it's going to take a couple years. Yes, it's going to take a while for you to really re-engineer your entire life, but it's not going to take your entire, maybe it's going to take your entire life, but what else? This is where I come down to the question, well, what else are you doing?
That's it.
What else are you doing if not just living your life? So might as well start to re-examine or examine for the first time those assumptions that we're making about what is actually valuable to keep doing.
Yeah. And you don't know how long it's going to take,
No.
It's really amazing how quick.
That's quick.
It's quick, and it's quick. Any of it's quick. I was feeling, just uncomfortable, when I start saying, ugh, in my head. And, I was working and it's chaotic and I'm like, kid's sick and all these things are going on. And I was staring at my screen and I was like, just get up from your closet and go for a walk. Go for a walk. Yeah. And I did. And I met my neighbor on the way. And this is a neighbor. Some neighbors are like, hey, how's it going? Other neighbors want to talk. You never know. And for whatever reason, we talked and we spoke for about almost 45 minutes yesterday. And at the end of it, I gave him I said, can I give you a hug? Now, when I first started talking to you, I didn't hug anybody. Right. And the connection was so beautiful. And we had such a wonderful conversation. And, I'll never forget it. And, he said, I've watched you for the last 2 years walking. He goes, and I've watched you with your son. I've watched you. He goes, and I just quietly observed you. He goes, and I hope that you never are something other than you. And I thought that was such a sweet thing to say, Yeah. It was beautiful. And I said, I hope the same for you, because he does things outside and he works on his cars and things like that. And I watched him the same way. Because I walk past it all the time. We always said, hey, how's it going? And I saw, how much effort and love he put into what he was doing. And I said, you really love what you're doing here? I was like, it looks great. And he said, yeah. He goes, it's easy. He said, because I just love it. He goes, that's why I do it. He goes, it might seem silly to some. He says, but it's what I do, Yeah.
That's right. It's all stupid, but do it anyway.
Yeah. And it was really, really amazing. And it kind of took me out of whatever that little funk I was in, and it wasn't anything. And I think of the line, you can see what's in front of you. And when we're caught up in all the other stuff and the story, and this was me, it is what it is. This is life. And it sucked. It just sucked every day. I was miserable. And now, when I get in a funky mood or I feel sad, it's just I feel sad or I'm just in a funky mood. My life is still beautiful. My life is still...
You just dropped off. Yeah, I do have Marianne. If you wanted to come back up and have any last minute I'll go ahead and bring up Marianne. Thank you, JK. Yes, that is beautiful. Your life is still beautiful, even if you're in a funky mood. Hey, Marianne, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
I also find going down this, when I look at myself more, that I'm much more present, and it makes things so much better and just really enjoyable, where I'm not sitting there criticizing myself. Oh, should I have said that or this or that? So.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot to get to a place where we're not judging ourselves. But it really, I always think that it really has a lot to do with how we were raised and how, I don't, as you know, I don't really deal with like inner child work, but it's like as an adult, allowing yourself to be controlled by some assumptions you made when you were 4 is ridiculous, because the assumptions you make at 4 are coming from a place where you have no frame of reference. And then when you can look at yourself now and say, I have a frame of reference now that I really know what the world is, and that I'm loved, or that I'm being held, or all of these things that I've learned along the way, and I'm not in danger, and I'm not being I'm not relying on my parents or all of these things. But yeah, it's like the more we know ourselves and the more we trust in ourselves, the less we judge ourselves, the less we have those internal conversations. And it takes practice, but it happens pretty quickly.
Yeah,
relatively.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
We don't have to be in, I don't think we have to, no, some people may very well, but I don't think we have to be in like therapy for 30 years and not make any progress, when all we really need to do is bring up some awareness and really, as that one verse was talking about, I think it was 54, observing virtue. It's just like you observe this thing and then you address it. You allow your senses to kind of guide the next thought. And then it's like, oh, I don't like this thought. It was like, oh, okay, we'll do something about that. There was that time a couple of years ago when everyone was telling everybody else, it was like, it's okay to not be okay. And I was always like, yeah, but it's not okay to not do anything about it. If you're not okay, you have to recognize you're not okay and not just use that as another crutch for you to continue not being okay. Right. Once you recognize you're not okay, now you have a job to do. You don't have to do anything about it right now, but you have to recognize the fact that you can't go, you're the one that's not okay. You recognize this, right? Like now it's not about changing the world around you. It's about changing yourself, because that's the only thing you have access to.
Right. So
how was the camping?
Oh, it was fun. I'm still tired. I'm still sore.
Sore? Where did the soreness come? Were you cutting wood?
No, my favorite part of the whole time was we hiked up to this, the top of this hill and went to a fire, or I don't know if it's a fire tower, but a tower. And then we got to slide down this big hill on our butts. And I'm like, how can I be 54 years old and never really done this?
Oh, wow. How did your pants fare?
Well, we still have snow up here.
Oh, okay.
So I had my snow pants on, and my body didn't fare so well. I kind of hit a tree. There's like one tree in the middle. So did it on another hill, and I rolled at the end. I'm like, oh, that's graceful. But it was so fun.
Well, that's so great. And I know you wrote me yesterday. I didn't really talk about that at all, but I wanted to just say what you're doing with children, and I know that this trip with the kids is not something that you built. It was something that was presented, and something that started with other people. But the fact that you're a part of it, the fact that you're trying to make it successful so it can continue is amazing. And I know yesterday we talked a lot about education, and you're someone I think of a lot when I talk about education, because you've pushed back on me a number of times, and I love that. And I love to get that. But again, I also know that I also know that how I feel about education is valid for me. And it's always great to see what you're doing, and because you're doing what you're doing, I know that we agree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you're doing exactly what I want to see education do more of. However, and we could use what you do as evidence that modern education is moving in that direction. But there are so many areas where that's not being proven. There's still so many gaps. Not that, again, you're at the forefront. You're avant-garde in all of this, and you're the one planting the seed. And sometimes, like Tao says, progress doesn't always seem to advance. It doesn't always seem like it's going in that direction. And but like in that verse, it also says, but the master has faith that's working through her. And that's what I think of when I look at you and the work that you're doing, and it's working through you, and you're utilizing every situation to help nurture that seed.
Yeah. And I guess for me, it's the administration. If you have a school that like allows you to try these things, and I remember I went to my principal a couple of years ago, and I'm like, okay, I got this crazy idea. What if I brought some kids camping who don't typically, experience this? And he's like, that's not crazy. I did it with my students. And,
Right.
That's what started that whole process. And yeah, so it's a team. It's that whole collaboration part that if you don't have some of those other players, then it's not going to go anywhere. So I've been really lucky to do something that I really do love, and I think it's important for students to experience. So yeah, and in the process, I get to have a little fun too. Down hills, and got to throw some axes and hatchets and what was it? Addle. You ever done that? I'm like, I've never even heard of that before.
What is this?
It's like a huge arrow. It's like a 5-foot long arrow, and you throw it like a dog.
You throw it like how do you throw a dog?
Oh no, you don't throw dogs. That'd be good.
You said you throw it like a dog. Like I don't know.
Right, no, like those little dog balls that you put on a end of thing, and you like click your wrist.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. It's on like a sling.
Yeah. But it was. I'm like, well, that was really cool. I've never done that. So, yeah, I obviously didn't have points on it. Yeah. So it was a dangerous camp we went to.
You're throwing dogs like, I don't know, what are you doing out there? This is not a good idea.
It was a survival thing, man. We had to go out.
Sometimes you get attacked by a dog, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun. Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. It's like it's a spear with a lever or something like that, and you're able to throw it.
Yeah.
I have seen that. I don't know the name Addle or whatever, but yeah, very, very deadly. Very deadly.
Yeah. Well, not when I'm doing it, so.
You got a number for today?
No, I don't.
All right, well, I'll just go ahead and pick a random one for you and see where it takes us. Number 16, Stillness and Integration. I think this one is really good because, you just had all this action. You just learned all this stuff. And you just had all these experiences with all these kids and all of this stuff. And so, not making assumptions about what you and other people experienced allows that experience to settle into your cells and into something bigger. We don't have to judge it in any way yet. We can just let it be. And it says, being empty of mind is of the utmost importance and is to be guarded with fervor. So what that says is really just don't make any assumptions about what you just experienced just yet. We have all seen states of action arise, and always beyond it returns stillness. This is all like your body's sore. It's like let that settle. Like that's your body healing, and your mind is also. I don't want to say healing, but it's integrating all of that you experience. That's happening there too.
No, you're right. I do yoga in the morning, and then that's when I do my Reiki. And anyway, today it was literally, I just laid there and I just laid there. I'm like, This is so nice. And the trip came into my mind, and then I kind of, I think about it a little. But it was, seriously, it was just, okay, this is what I need, is to just be quiet for a while. So.
Yeah. And it says here, like, when any state of action is complete, it naturally returns to stillness. And that stillness that you had today, doing savasana or whatever, right? This allows integration of what arose from action, which is the natural cycle of maturation. That you just laying there and breathing and feeling your body and just being in that space. That's maturation. You're starting to mature. Something is maturing in your system. If stillness and integration cannot be achieved, constant action will lead to anxiety and wild movements. Yielding to stillness makes one impartial, and all particular things fall away. And when it's time to die, one can be impartial to that as well. Like that last section, if stillness and integration cannot be achieved, constant action will lead to anxiety and wild movement. You come home and you're like, okay, that was great. Let's continue. Let's just keep making this happen. Let's keep, all of a sudden you're making decisions for others. You're making decisions for the school. You're making decisions, and you might get resistance. And if you get resistance, you might get fear. Who knows the cycle that's going to integrate into. But it says here, yielding to stillness, you can lay there and you can be impartial. You can be open to hearing what other people are saying about it without making assumptions. And all particular things fall away. The fact that you went on this trip to this place with these kids, that can all fall away. And you can open yourself up to the next group of kids, the next opportunity, the next place, the next experience. And all of the particulars can fall away. And you realize that it's not necessarily about the particulars. It's not necessarily about the place, about the kids, about the lessons, about the experience. But it's about you being open to be guided to receive these experiences. And then when it's time to die, when this event isn't going to possibly, maybe isn't going to continue, you can be impartial to that, because another one can happen. What's that?
Or I have a new job
or you have a new job. When it's time for this, whatever it is you've defined as particular, your job, these kids, this place, this weekend, when that's time to die, you can be impartial to that. Impartial to it because you know that happened. You can't take that away from anybody. But things have to go through their cycle. And maybe this is going to happen again, and it's going to happen with different teachers and different students that need a different experience. And you're not going to be a part of that. And maybe that feels sad to you because you want to be a part of that. But maybe you'll be a part of something completely different. That'll be just as effective in doing the things that you want. But when you get into the particulars of, I want to be a part of that, well, that's when things start to get difficult.
I think I start letting that stuff go now. I mean, because, that would have, I like being part of things.
Yeah.
So, but I'm much more like letting things just kind of happen.
And you're still having amazing experiences.
Oh yeah. Next week we're going to the park. So for my class field trip. So
see, that's the great thing. That goes back to God closes a door and opens a window or whatever, Oh, thank you so much for joining me. You just dropped off. If you had anything more to say, please, you can come back up. But it's so wonderful that, we can have these experiences, and we can continue to grow, and we can continue to have faith that it's going to lay out the way it does. It's all my teachers today. What's going on, Melissa?
Hey, Martin John, just heading to school, gotta go.
Yeah, I know.
What are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm not sure. I think I'm doing okay. A little anxious today. I heard, I don't know if you know Hazim, he was talking about war and,
I always get this point where you break up.
Again, just thinking about the state of the world and, the war and stuff like that. And Hazim was talking about that this morning. And I don't watch news because I don't like the news because it upsets me. And I think of things, I think too damn much. Excuse my language, but we both know this is true. I can think and
I was talking earlier about consuming and the news cycle and consuming news and consuming those videos and consuming all of that stuff. Really, it's no different than a cookie. It's no different than, even if it's interesting because when you're eating the whole row of Oreos, it's like, you might be halfway done and already you're not liking that you're doing it, but you still like the taste. And that's the same thing with watching news and stuff. You don't like that you're doing it, but for some reason you just want to complete the cycle. You want to complete the story. And I think that that's one of the big problems with telling story is that you want to get to the end of the story because you feel while telling the story, when I get to the end, I'll be satisfied. But the thing is when you get to the end of that row of Oreos, you're not satisfied because it wasn't about satisfaction. It was never about being satisfied. It's just about like, I'm bored or I'm upset or I'm angry or I'm judging or I'm doing all of these things that are taxing me to such an extent that I need to escape. And I'm escaping by engaging in this cookie. I'm escaping by engaging in this news. And the news cycle is more addictive today than ever. So the best thing you can do is just not engage. Because if you engage a little bit, it's going to fool you into engaging more.
Yeah, no, I don't watch the news. Like I saw something the other day. I was out somewhere and they had like on the screen, like somebody, the leader of Iran died and somebody else told me that we're at war with them. I mean, I didn't even know. I don't even know these things. And I guess
your life, it really is where you are. Like the children that you teach, your mom, your family, your friends, like when we look at, I think it's Blossoming Leader. No, it's What's Important. Number 80, if you don't mind me picking number 80 for you.
Oh, please, I didn't have a number. Thank you.
So number 80 says, when there are diminished options, people are content by being creative. I would say that today, there is no place where you can find diminished options because your options are so plentiful. You can watch news that is right-leaning. You can watch news that is left-leaning, right? You have lots of options. You can watch news that is all sorts of leaning. Who knows? And it says, when people have diminished options, they're content with being creative. Now, you not watching news, you're content with trying to be creative in your life. Do things, have these relationships, have these conversations. They never dwell on fear or regret Nor do they get caught up in engaging novel things. The novel things being like the news, the novel things being like the Oreos, the novel things being all of these things that are novel around you. All these new and interesting things. Novel just meaning like new, or novel in terms of like, you know, like I'm going to do something that I haven't done before, and it's just going to, you know, distract me from something that, you know, like when foodies go out and they need to eat a new food every day or something, you know, it's just like, that's a novel thing. But It's like, you could just eat your food and shut up about it. You know what I mean? Like just enjoy this, whatever it happens. Can you enjoy this, whatever it happens to be, rather than trying to go find that next novel thing? It's just, sure, they have ways to get around. However, there's no interest in going anywhere. They have access to weapons. However, there's no occasion to use them. They enjoy their simple food, their plain clothes and gardens, their humble homes and common customs. They spend time with neighbors and family and hear stories of the city and its opportunities, but are content to die of old age, having never seen it. You don't have to engage in all these things. You know, like there's nothing saying that there's any value in it. You do what you do, and then that inspires others to do what they do, and that inspires people to love each other, that inspires all of these things where you are. When that starts to encroach and you get it in your mind to do something and you become inspired to do something, you will. But there's no reason to judge yourself for not watching the news. Like for me, I need to avoid the news because I have this diagnosis of MS. And when I stress, I can get a flare up. Is it worth it for me to be in hospital because I'm having a flare up of MS? Just to be up on who's killing who in a world that I don't support anyway?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, I'm not gonna, and who would ask me to do that? Who would ask me, no. You shouldn't be able to walk. And so you should watch the news. And, you know, like, I have done things in my life that give me, you know, a lot of options. But some of my options are diminished because I have this diagnosis of MS. So the option for me to engage in the news and go get angry and go fight in some, you know, in some manner. I fight by doing my show every day, right? I fight by making a mosaic. I fight by doing all the things that I already do. And then there are other people who are inspired to watch the news. There are other people who are inspired to spread that. There are people who are inspired to manipulate those things. There's people who are inspired to do all of this stuff. But I can't get caught up in their ideas of what's important. And I have to be who I am. And when I get frustrated with myself because I'm consuming too much of it, I have to, you know, respect the children, and they will respect the children. Like, my actions will respect the children. And that's how we grow. That's how we learn.
Wow. Number 80. I don't think we've read this one, or I don't think you've read this to me. I may have heard it, but that was really beautiful. And yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to go build a model of a crater, and maybe I'm not inspired to do it, but that's what I need to do right now, because
who knows the mystery of the Tao.
I don't know. Not
crater,
I, my
the
friend.
Crater.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
You go build the crater.
I'm going to go try to build a model of a crater, my friend. I'm not, you know, artistic like you are, but I'm going to go try to be creative to the best of my ability, sir.
I'm sure it's going to be beautiful.
Well, I love you. You have a good day, and I will talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Love you. Bye-bye. I'm going to bring Julie up.
Gratitude.
Hey, Julie. How are you, dear?
Away. Gratitude. Thank you. It's 1 o'clock and my time, which means must be getting close to closing time for the hour of the day.
I saw that Forrest is stepping a little further away from the bottom 3. That's good.
Yeah, we were on tenterhooks yesterday.
Yeah.
But we let them do their task and their journey.
Yeah, that's right. Like Hull are doing their task and their journey, and we got a couple. We got an interesting end of the season. So we'll see if we can get into the playoffs and maybe who knows? We might miss each other again next year. We might stay down. You might stay up. We might go up. You might come down. Who knows? We
might swap. We might tango. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting.
I was going to say that statement, their task and their journey, so that I don't have to, has been really helpful to me. I don't know where I come across that, but it's kind of a really nice.
I remember telling you about that a while back.
Yeah, goodness me, that's been so helpful.
Yeah,
so
it's a good
helpful.
one. Yeah. They do them. So, I'm always so grateful for people that, and that's why I remember I was walking down the street one day in Chicago with someone from New York, and there was a guy who was missing a leg and he was homeless and stuff. And I looked at him and he was asking for money, and I just said, "I love you. Good luck." I didn't give him any money. But the person that was with me was like, kind of astonished. She was from New York, so she probably comes across more, not from New York, but she moved there as an adult. She was taken aback a little bit because of my actions. It's like, looking people in the eye, and that is respectful. Like, respect the fact that this man is homeless. Respect the fact that this man had lost his leg, and for whatever reason, like out in the manifestation, but he's doing this experience because I'm not.
That's right.
I'm having an experience because he's not. You know, and that's contributing to the whole of everything.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like, it's so great. It's so great that we're all here, and just respect everybody's journey.
Yeah. The thing is when you look at someone in the eye who's sitting there on the pavement with a leg missing, you're still acknowledging their very existence, and that's the most powerful thing you can give anyone.
That's right. That humanity. Yeah. And for them to walk away knowing that they're human and deserve that respect.
Yes.
Because so many people want to just look away. The person I was with couldn't look them in the eye. Because there was whatever reason, like that's not whatever.
Their task, their journey.
Yep, that's right. They needed to have that experience of not being able to look someone in the eye and seeing me wish them luck and love, and that experience is going to be completely different for that person than it is going to be for me.
Yeah.
We're all having our own experience, and I'm grateful for it.
Same. No matter what happens, whatever comes along, I'm always contented.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you in the garden.
Okay.
Hoover's coming out. The Hoover's coming out to play.
Oh, is that a Hoover robot?
No, this is a lovely lady called Alana. She's
okay.
Gorgeous. She's a gorgeous soul. I'm very, very blessed, to be able to be in the same space as her. And have conversations. I think she's lovely. But so I've had an experience of a tooth extraction 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so this was the tooth that I didn't go and have taken out straight away because I was very nervous. And above the tooth was an abscess.
Yeah.
And so I had antibiotics that helped deal with the abscess. But it was still there, you see. And I was like, ignoring it really. And I was like, I don't want to have my tooth out. It's going to be a bit of a task and a journey. Yeah. But eventually I had the tooth out. And it was fine. Everything was fine. The dentist I was with was very, very kind, efficient, information, sharing and all of that. She was really, really good. Non-judgmental, which is massively important to me.
Yeah.
I just took his tooth out and off I went. That was my last visit with her. And my body needed rest after that. It took good 2 days to get over that tooth extraction. And I really didn't know what it was about. But do you know what? I just let my body have a rest. I just said, no, that's what my body wants. It wants to adjust itself to being a toothless woman.
Yeah.
There's no abscess. The abscess went with the tooth. But I kept the tooth, Martin John. I kept it.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to keep you with me, just to remind me that no matter how hard things are, no matter how hard the story is that I tell myself, it's okay. It's never the way you think. It's never the way you think. So, that's my experience at the moment. I'm here for another couple of days. At the moment, the sun is shining. I'm sat in the garden again, just observing these 3 wonderful little fur creatures that come and... Actually, what they do, Martin John, is very good to me, these cats, because they come every now and then to reassure me that they're okay. I think somewhere along the line they've figured out that I'm a bit of a worrier. So they nip in, they go around my legs and then they disappear and do their thing again. But I'm okay, and then off they go. But yeah, it's a good day, Martin John, and I think my number today... Even though, there's wars going on in the world, and I did talk about that this morning, and I said, that it's all about balance. Everything is in balance all of the time, and so I'd like to be part of the calm balance, which is what we're talking about. And so I'm lending my energies to that at the moment. And, so I think I'll have to pick a number now, because I'm, I think we'll go for number 5.
Number 5.
Because that's the tooth. That's the tooth that got pulled.
Number 5. Impartial. And I think that, and this one's very apropos. Nature doesn't care. It knows everything is more than it seems. The master doesn't care. She knows that as well. It is good to be empty. Thus the master embraces the void. Like a bellows, she produces from emptiness. Stay centered.
Mm.
Go on.
My mouth is loving the hole. It avoided the hole for a while.
Yeah.
Now it's exploratory. That feels okay.
Yeah. This idea that nature doesn't care. Nature doesn't care if your tooth comes out or if it doesn't. Nature doesn't care if, there's a war or there's peace or whatever. It knows everything is more than it seems. So this too shall pass. This peace shall pass. This war shall pass. This tooth shall pass. This body shall pass.
Yeah.
The master doesn't care. She knows that as well. She knows that whatever this is, and we got to remember that you are having this interaction with the woman in this building, in the house that you're in.
Lovely, yes.
Right? This amazing sort of thing. And that is part of the balance of the world. Yeah. And although we can watch the news and we can say, what do other people deem is important? And I've always said this, we might listen to music, might be like, this is the best, is it the Beatles or the Stones? But there may be a band in the basement in Suffolk somewhere,
Westlife,
right? and they're making this amazing music that no one hears.
Yeah,
and I always think about that as it relates to so many things, because who knows who's having the biggest conversations? Is it the person who's getting the most attention, Or is it someone else entirely that's just quietly going about their business, doing the thing that, and it says here, nature doesn't care. It knows everything is more than it seems. So just because you're you focus on these big famous people or the people that are taking the most attention, are those the things that are changing the world the most? I look at this show and I'm like, maybe this show is changing the world in more ways than all of the wars happening right now. And maybe. I mean, we don't know, because everything is more than it seems. And so you just step in and you do what you do. And if you're driven to do that, and if you're scared and you step into that and you grow and you mature, and then says it's good to be empty. It's good to not know. It's good to just allow yourself to be moved by your own experience. Thus, the master embraces the void. Like a bellows.
I like the idea of not knowing, because then somebody asked a question on here. What thing have you done that's new? What new experience have you had? And I wanted to answer by saying every experience that I have is new.
Damn right, yeah.
Yeah, never done anything before.
That's right.
Not for this moment. Yeah.
Right. And that's like a bellows she produces from emptiness. You don't step into everything going like, yeah, I've done this before. Yes, I've been here before. Yes, I've been like, oh. No, it's just stay centered. Stay centered, because this is brand new and you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what this is doing. You have no idea what's happening. Everything is more than it seems. Step into it with that reverence of this moment and know that this moment is unfolding in ways that you could have no idea about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Kind of reminds me to remember not to keep telling yourself stories.
Yeah. Just be impartial. Be impartial. Yeah. This is, whether it's good, it's bad, it's all that. Be impartial. Nature doesn't care. Nature's gonna shake us off like a bad cold eventually.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's fun when you think about that.
And if Earth becomes a barren rock, do you think nature cares? No, it doesn't. It's just gonna keep spinning around and doing what it does.
Being a barren rock.
Being a barren rock, like as far as we know, I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were aligning with this, there's this thing you can take memories, print them up, and then put them on the moon. And I was like, what? You could put them on the moon? And she was like, yeah, because it's like, it's not going to decay or anything. Wait, we haven't littered on our own planet enough. Now we're littering on the moon.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's a space capsule, like it's like a time capsule. It's like, yeah, but you're just going to leave it on the moon?
Who cares what you've been doing? Who cares?
Your memory, when you die, that memory is going to be on the moon. That's just going to be litter because no one's going to know anything of it.
No one's going to know. That memory is written by you.
Right.
So it's already tainted. Right. It's not real.
And it's like, oh, well, they're going to have photographs and stuff. And I was just like, no, like I just can't get behind that. Like this idea that you're just going to litter.
Me and Brad, we sent a laser message out into space before it was kind of like frowned upon. And in it, we put a map of where we were in the solar system. And we put on it different plants and animals, and we put on it where we were and what we were doing. In that moment, we just lasered it off. So Brad worked out that it was way beyond our solar system by now. We've got no idea who's going to pick that up.
Yeah.
And if they even will.
Right.
Nice.
And, and I look at that and I'm just like, okay, so there's a laser going on. But at least it's not, at least well, I don't know. I don't know, whatever it is. Like, you did a thing, and these people will do a thing and litter on the moon. That's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I'm not going to contribute to it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm talking about it, so I'm contributing to it. But we don't know. We don't know. Maybe the moon will become a garbage dump for, you know, our memories. You know, but how many?
How important are we, huh?
Yeah, right. Like, that's kind of that's what I think about. It's just like how special we must be to just be like, okay, we're going to go ahead and destroy our planet. Let's go ahead and destroy our moon as well, or just litter on our moon as well, or whatever it's going to be. And that's always. And you dropped off. If you had anything else to add, definitely come back up. But that's, you know, and that's my own judgments. That's my own things. But I just don't want to. I don't want to litter on the moon.
Yeah.
I don't want to litter here. You know, like I even went to their website and I sent them a message saying, you know, in our national forests we say, leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but photos. How do you feel you're being a good steward of the moon by leaving these things on the surface of the moon? Like you know. And then they have not responded. So
I would ask them another question. Why? That would be my question. Why do you want to do that?
Well, they are a business, and so they want to make money. They want to make money, you know, and it's the people that have memories that one would ask that question to. Because hopefully nobody wants to litter on the moon, and the company goes, oh, this is not viable. Right. This is not like nobody wants to litter on the moon, because if people want to litter on the moon, that gives them a mandate of some sort to say, well, I can litter all I want. As long as there are people that are willing to litter on the moon, then fine. You know, that's the same thing with oil. As long as people are willing to keep fighting for internal combustion engines, we're going to keep drilling oil, and we're going to keep making, you know, and oh, you know what? People are starting to want to do electric things. Let's start marketing more so that they want this other thing. And you start to, you know, and again, when we look at this impartial, nature doesn't care. It knows everything is more than it seems. So this littering on the moon is more than it seems. Let it be. But I'm not going to engage in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, the master doesn't care. She knows I have to know that this is, and I need to be inspired to say something about it. So I wrote them a message, and then they're inspired to not respond. It's good to be empty. Thus the master embraces the void. Let it be as it is. And like a bellows, she produces from emptiness. I can continue to produce without being taxed by the decisions of other people. Like, say, okay, they want to litter the moon. Go ahead and do it. Like, I'm not going to engage in that. And hopefully you find that nobody wants to ruin the moon. You know, but whatever, or ruin, quote unquote. Like, it might not ruin. It might just engage in this activity. You know, I don't want to make assumptions as to what it's going to do. Maybe it'll actually make the moon a better place. I don't know. You know, like in New York, they take old train cars, they empty them out and everything, and put them in the ocean, and that helps build places for fish to hide and stuff. I mean, I don't know at what point that's, you know, that you've, you know, it's like everyone's just like, oh, look, short term, you know, like everything is more than it seems. So let's just see how this plays out.
Thank you, Martin John. You're always a wonderful human being to have a conversation with, and you always inspire thoughts and lovely balanced ones as well. So I appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
I'm glad. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
And you. Much love.
Oh, all the love. So thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Martin John. I'm here 6 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, talking about the Tao Te Ching. Thank you all for joining me. We talked about so many verses today. We talked about 52, 54, 64, 16, 80, and 5. That's a full dance card right there. So thank you guys so much for joining me. And if you benefit from the work that I do here, definitely check out the links in my profile. You can support this show through Venmo or Buy Me a Coffee. You can also pick up a copy of my Tao through those links. And yeah, until next time, keep recovering yourself.